World War II. It was a time when men, women, and children alike helped in their fight for freedom. Cast your mind back to these times, the 1940s. Thousands of deaths had already occurred in the fight to take down Adolf in Western Europe. However, over in Holland, it was possible to see a small windmill, home to the vanSummeran family, who were doing their part by hiding away some American men. These men were known as paratroopers, who had dropped from their planes days ago and were taken in, given food, home, and shelter. However, as all truths do, this information eventually got out, and the Germans came. Flash forward to today, and the 1940s seem like a long time ago. But one vanSummeran still remains with us to tell his story. This is the story of Hank vanSummeran.
Okay, so you were born in 1933. You were around 10 years old when World War II broke out. Is that right?
That is correct, mate. That's correct. Yeah, in a little place called Holland in the Netherlands. Yeah.
So you had American paratroopers inside your windmill from your father giving them shelter.
Yes, we did have. Well, I don't know what it was, 2 or 3, because my father never ever told me. He kept everything very secret. Like, we didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
But, well, all we knew was he was feeding some people, unbeknown to us, because Mum used to cook always a lot of food, and he used to, I don't know what he did with it all, but he was feeding the Americans. He was hiding.
Okay. So how did you feel that with them in your windmill? Did it feel any different?
No, I didn't feel any different, no, because I didn't know what was going on, mate, on that particular time. Because I was only about 10 or 11, and you know what it's like when you're only 10 and 11, so you don't know that much.
Okay.
Especially when your dad doesn't tell you nothing. Because everything was a secret, because nobody could talk too much during the war because you didn't know what you were saying and who was actually listening.
So, on that note, how did the Germans actually find out that they were in your windmill?
Well, we had a bad boy, or bad man, that lived in our little village, and he went with the German soldiers, and he had a rough idea, and he told the Germans, so we were hiding some Americans. So and they came in the middle of the night, knocked on the door, and pointed a gun at my dad, and said, "Where are those boys? Where are the Americans?" And he said, "I don't know what you're talking about." So they took him away, and like we already had a message from somebody else, because somebody else was been talking, so we knew something was going on. So they didn't stay in the windmill at all. They were sleeping outside in the field. There was no Americans in the windmill at that particular time, no. That's why they had to go empty-handed. And they took my father away with them. And I don't know where they went to, because my father never told us what happened or what the Germans did to him, or he never spoke about it whatsoever.
So, what happened during the week when your father was gone?
Well, we were pretty sad because we didn't know where he was and what happened. So Mum said, "Righto, I'm the boss now. Do what I tell you what to do, but don't say nothing to anybody." So that was more or less the end of the story. So we were only kids, so we couldn't do that much really. It was pretty sad. We were all sad because Dad wasn't there.
Must have been.
And we didn't know when he was going to come back.
So, did this experience change you?
Oh, it certainly did. It changed me a lot, mate. Yes, a hell of a lot. But when I grew up, when I turned 18, I was supposed to go into the army for 2 years, and I didn't want to have a bar of the army because I know what was happening in the army when the Germans were at our place and killing people and shooting people and doing bad things, and I didn't want to do that. So I decided to leave the country and come to Australia.
So I think that's all the questions we have for the interview. So I just want to thank you for your time and I really appreciate this.
Good, Harry. I'd love to have it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
There might be a few cars in the shop.
Hello.
Wow.
Why
Operation falls apart.
did you have to just go like,
Action. Don't do that, Dad. Put that back on. Don't stop.